Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT +1. That is 11 a.m. GMT +1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk. The whole truth. To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikunle Amosu.
You're welcome to Celebration Television News Desk. I'm Nicholas Akosile, and quickly we have news making the rounds right now. 60 COVID-19 patients discharged in Lagos State. Sudan appoints ambassador to Washington in 22 years. Trump admits U.S. reopening will cost more lives. Canada trade deficit widens as oil and car export falls. FIFA money not relief fund, says Spinnick. Please stay with us as we'll bring you the details of that news after this short break. Don't go anywhere, please. Thanks for joining us now. The news in details. Not fewer than 321 patients undergoing treatment for coronavirus at isolation facilities in Lagos State have been discharged. This is after another batch of 60 patients were discharged yesterday. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu made this known via a series of tweets. He said they discharged 60 COVID-19 patients, including 40 males and 20 females. He tweeted and said they discharged 60 COVID-19 Lagos patients, 40 males and 20 females from the Yaba, Etiosa and Ijebuleki isolation facilities to reunite with their families and society. The patient 31 from the mainland infection disease hospital Yaba, 19 from the Ijebuleki and 10 from Etiosa isolation center were discharged, having fully recovered and tested negative in 2 consecutive readings. With this, the number of COVID-19 confirmed cases that have been successfully managed and discharged in Lagos State, Nigeria is now 321. And moving forward, Nigerian Senate awaiting details of Buhari's 850 billion naira domestic loan request. The executive arm of government had yet to furnish the Senate with details and breakdown of projects expected to be executed with the 850 billion naira domestic loan request of President Muhammadu Buhari. The Red Chamber had last week Tuesday given accelerated approval to the loan request expected to be sourced from local capital market despite not having details of the official communication. The President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, had after the express approval directed the relevant committees of the Senate to liaise with the Ministry of Finance concerning details of the loan request. The chairman, Senate Committee on Special Duty, Senator Yusuf confirmed to a correspondent the details of a loan request had not been sent to the Senate. Yusuf said they are still expecting the official communication from the presidency. What they did was to approve the 850 billion borrowing request from the domestic capital market to restructure the budget, which is still coming to the National Assembly. Another news story is Christian Association of Nigeria CAN demands withdrawal of infectious disease bill. The Christian Association of Nigeria has protested against the proposed bill on infectious disease control in Nigeria by the House of Representatives, warning that it should not be passed into law in national interest. CAN's protest was contained in a letter by its General Secretary Joseph Daramola to the Speaker of the House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila. They are urging the House to discontinue discussion on this bill forthwith in the overall interest of the Nigerian citizens. However, should they insist that there is merit in this unacceptable bill, they insist that this bill should pass through public hearing. Christian Association of Nigeria CAN reminded the legislators that courts on numerous occasions struck out acts of parliaments and legislations, including executive orders of governments, which do violence to any of the fundamental human rights provided for in the Constitution. The organization also queried the intention behind the bill, which seeks to prohibit and control infectious disease to be passed by the House of Representatives into law with jet speed. Daramola said, Christian Association of Nigeria advises the leadership and honorable members of the House of Representatives to immediately allow the Spirit of God to prevail over the primordial intentions and ambition not to pass their controversial, nebulous, and obnoxious bill into law in the overall interest of Nigerians. This bill is not what is currently being expected from the House of Representatives, but rather the development of the vaccines that will stop this COVID-19 pandemic from further killing of the citizens. And coming from around Africa, South Africa starts trial using TB vaccine against COVID-19. Health workers are at the center of a COVID-19 vaccine trial in South Africa. The process is testing the efficacy of BCG, Bacillus-Calmette-Guerin, a tuberculosis vaccine against COVID-19. 500 health workers are involved in a process undertaken by TASC, a clinical research organization funding the study. The trial is to be extended to some 3,000 participants in Cape Town who will be monitored for a year, the organization noted. 250 participants have so far been given the injection and another 250 given a placebo. And a placebo is an innocuous or inert medication given as a pacifier or to the control group in experiments on the efficacy of a drug. Professor Andres Diakun of TASC told the AFP news agency that children immunized with BCG tended to suffer less from respiratory illness like asthma. COVID-19 is a respiratory illness which is the subject of a global search for vaccine and treatment. In Africa, anti-malaria drug chloroquine has been okayed for treatment by a number of countries, especially in their cases. The World Health Organization will have to evaluate the outcome of such trials for more work to continue on their efficacy. The global health body has also expressed worry about the potential impact of shortages of BCG, which are used to vaccinate children against TB. And still from around Africa, Sudan appoints ambassador to Washington in 22 years. Sudan has appointed its first ambassador to Washington in 22 years. In a statement issued Monday, the Sudanese Foreign Ministry said Washington has approved the appointment of Nuruddin Sati. It's a first since 1998. Since that date, Sudan has been represented in the United States by a diplomat. As an experienced diplomat, Sati had been stationed in Paris and at the United Nations, where he worked on peacekeeping in the Democratic Republic of Congo and in Rwanda. In December 2019, during an official visit to Washington, D.C. By the Sudanese Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo announced the appointment of an ambassador to Khartoum. between Qatar and Washington deteriorated during the 30-year regime of President Omar al-Bashir. He was overthrown in April 2019 by mass protest. Despite lifting economic sanctions against Sudan in 2017, Khartoum is still on the U.S. blacklist of states supporting terrorism. These continue to curb its prospects for investments in Sudan. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll bring you updates from the United States. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details.
Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT +1, that is 11 a.m. GMT +1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth.
Coronavirus is an infectious disease, one which can be spread from person to person.
However, you can protect yourself, the people around you, and help prevent spreading the virus to others if only you
Wash your hands regularly for 20 seconds with soap and water or an alcoholic-based hand rub or sanitizer.
Clean and disinfect surfaces. Cover your nose and mouth with a disposable tissue or flex elbow when you cough or sneeze.
Practice social distancing. Avoid close contact, that is 1 meter or 3 feet, with people who are unwell.
stay home and self-isolate from others in the household if you feel unwell.
Don't touch your eyes, nose or mouth with your hands, whether clean or not.
You only need to stay in the comfort of your home.
As Celebration TV brings to you life-transforming,
Destiny empowering.
And spirit-uplifted programs for your viewing pleasure.
Together we can save lives and cut down the spread of coronavirus.
This message is brought to you by Celebration TV, revealing Jesus, releasing destinies.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi
and the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details.
Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT +1, that is 11 a.m. GMT +1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth.
All right, thanks for joining us once again. Now, updates from the United States as Trump admits U.S. reopening will cost more lives. President Donald Trump considered Tuesday that more Americans would die in reopening the U.S. economy, but underlined his insistence on a dwindling coronavirus threat by refusing to wear a mask, even as he toured a mask-making factory. When asked by whether the lifting of social distancing measures and reopening of the shuttered economy will lead to higher death tolls, Trump said it's possible there will be same. Because you won't be locked into an apartment or a house or wherever it is, Trump said at the Honeywell factory in Phoenix, Arizona, which he visited in his first major trip since the coronavirus lockdown began. Trump's November re-election I'll take it again. Trump's November re-election campaign is reeling from the massive shutdown order to try and stop the spread of the virus, which has already killed 70,000 Americans and is forecast to take tens of thousands more lives. Praising the Honeywell workers who churn out masks used by medical staff and other first responders, Trump reiterated that it's time to look ahead. Blustering and shift of direction. The White House said that Trump's emergency coordination group for the pandemic will be disbanding probably by early June. More updates from the UK. UK scientist behind lockdown resigns after breaking rules. A top scientist who advised British leaders on coronavirus lockdown measures said on Tuesday he had resigned from a key government panel after admitting to breaking the country's rules on social distancing. Professor Neil Ferguson, an epidemiologist on the advisory team helping the UK coordinate its pandemic response, stepped down following media reports that he had allowed a woman to visit him at home. The scientist said he had stepped back from his role on the Scientific Advisory Group for Emergencies. A government spokesman confirmed his resignation. The government had ramped up its response to the crisis after research by Ferguson and his colleagues at Imperial College London warned that COVID-19 infections and health will spiral without drastic action. Under the measures, non-essential shops and services were shut, while residents were told not to go out except for exercise and to buy essential items. Police were given powers to fine those flouting the rules. The lockdown was extended for another 3 weeks in mid-April, but Johnson is soon expected to set out his plan to lift these stringent rules, according to media reports. Coming up next is business news, as we have Canada trade deficit widens as oil and car exports fall. Despite keeping its border open for goods shipments during the coronavirus pandemic, Canadian trade fell in March while its trade deficit widened to 1.4 billion Canadian dollar, according to data released on Tuesday. The figure up from 894 million Canadian dollar deficit in February beat analyst forecast. Year-over-year trade fell 10%, but with a full month of physical distancing policies in place in April, trade values are expected to decrease more severely in that month, 136 Canada. Total exports fell 4.7% to 46.3 billion Canadian dollar in March, while imports declined 3.5% to 47.7 billion Canadian dollar, the government agency said. Automakers and several auto engineering parts suppliers in North America notably began to cease production or shifted production to medical masks and ventilators with the introduction of physical distancing measures. These had a significant impact on trade, according to Statistics Canada. The double drop in car and oil sales resulted in a sharp decline in trade with the United States, while Canada's trade surplus with its largest trading partner narrowed slightly from 4 billion Canadian dollar in February to 3.9 billion Canadian dollar in March. The month also saw lower exports of aircraft, but higher exports of farm fishing and intermediate food products with the end of rail blockades by indigenous rights activists, allowing a grain backlog to be cleared. And still on business, federal government will offer small oil fields for licensing, says NNPC. The federal government will offer marginal oil feeds for auction this year despite the crash in crude oil prices, the group managing director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Mele Kyari, has said. The country has not conducted any licensing round since 2007, while a marginal field round was last held in 2003. Kyari said the government would not be able to conduct any major licensing round as the current market realities would dampen foreign investors' appetite. He spoke on Tuesday during a virtual dialogue session on government fiscal policy decisions in response to the current challenges organized by the Ministry of Finance and the UK Department for International Development Partnership to engage, reform and learn. He said marginal fields by their very nature require very small-scale investments. Countries normally do this licensing round to encourage local participation, and this local participation are usually funded by local borrowings because the scale of investment is not huge. The Director General Budget Office of the Federation, Ben Akabweze, in his presentation at the event said the government would accelerate marginal feeds licensing and renewal of expiring oil mining licenses as part of measures to augment revenues. In a related development, the international oil benchmark Brent crude rose by $4.2 to $31.4 per barrel on Tuesday. Coming up next is Sports News. Stay with us, don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Marks.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1, that is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1, and Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth.
I want to talk to people, businessmen, captains of industry, politicians, and government officials. Don't panic. Whether you are a senator, you are a governor, you are a House of Rep, don't panic. This will not consume you. We will see the end. Coronavirus will not see our end. We will see the end. I only wish we have a proper understanding that what is happening now is not just a pandemic. It is a programming. It's a demonic programming. It's a programming towards the New World Order. It's time for you to know God. It's time for you to work with God. All your staff who are not at work right now, in as much as staffs have been told to understand that they cannot expect so much money at the end of the month, also please don't lay anybody off. This is a challenge on every single person. Don't lay anybody off, but also the staff should understand that they may not get the kind of pay that they expect, because this is one thing that has hit the whole world economy. Don't lay them off. Understand with them. This is not the fault of any man. Let's all come together, from boss to staff, from staff to boss, and have a compromise and be understanding. We will see the end of this pandemic. We will see the end of this evil programming. In Jesus' name.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Marks.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1, that is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1, and Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth.
Welcome to
And you're welcome to Sports News. FIFA money, not relief money, says Pinnick. President Nigerian Football Federation Amaju Pinnick has explained that the operational fund from football's governing body FIFA for 2019 and 2020 is neither a relief fund nor palliative. The NFF is said to receive $500,000 from FIFA as part of efforts to combat the economic effects of the coronavirus pandemic. Pinnick said on Twitter that the NFF would follow the rules of disbursing them, as FIFA's vigorous auditing processes is still to be in effect. He also hinted that any decision taken about football in Nigeria will be taken in line with the directives of the Sports and Health Ministries. The NFF board said even though these funds are going to be released early, all federations will still be required to follow the rules of spending them. FIFA hasn't waived those rules. If the federation gets its allocation, it's expected to spend them on agreed parameters. FIFA's vigorous auditing processes will still be in effect. He also said any decision taken about football in Nigeria will be taken in line with the directives of the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport Development and the Federal Ministry of Health. In another sports news, Osimhen rules out Serie A move. Lille striker Victor Osimhen has reportedly stated that he is unlikely to play club football in Italy despite receiving concrete offers from top Serie A clubs. Osimhen is courted by Italian club AC Milan, Inter Milan and Atlanta following his blistering start to his Lille career in the French Ligue 1. He has also been linked with a switch to Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester United, Tottenham, Barcelona and Real Madrid. Signed last summer for €12 million from Sporting Chalerio. The Nigerian has been a serious revelation in League One over the course of the 2019-2020 campaign, scoring 18 goals and providing 6 assists in all competitions before the season was suspended due to the coronavirus outbreak. Osimhen still has over 4 years left on his contract at Lille, which means any interested suitor will have to splash out big to sign him. Lille president Jared Lopez has indicated his desire to keep Osimhen unless he receives a huge offer in the summer. Osimhen has considerable interest from England, but nothing is close to concrete yet. The player and the Lille board are due to speak in the next 2 weeks to take a definite decision. And that has brought us to the end of the news on Celebration Television News Desk. And in case you missed out on any of it, here's a recap of the headlines. 60 COVID-19 patient discharged in Lagos State, Nigeria. Sudan appoints ambassador to Washington in 22 years. Trump admits U.S. reopening will cost more lives. Canada trade deficit widens as oil and cars exports fall. FIFA money, not relief money, says Pinnick. And we have photo of the day. A word for us today: we don't have time, we'll make time. So if you think you have time before you do something, you're just deceiving yourself. It's time to make our time to achieve your goal in life. Do you have a contrary opinion to that? You can drop it on our social media platform. On Facebook, Celebration TV, Instagram, My Celebration TV, Twitter @My Celebration TV, and on YouTube, www.youtube.com/Celebration TV. Remember that the continuous transformation of our society is a collective responsibility of all. No matter the office you hold as a nation's president, a thought leader, an opinion molder, a character builder, a professional, or a person pursuing passion, you have a duty to give your all to making the society a better place for us and the generations to come. It's time for us all to play a part and do it with all diligence. Thank you once again for staying with us on our news desk. I remain Nicholas Akosele. Stay blessed. To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor Ibikunle Amosun